We're going to be doing this run in Pirate mode, which actually is a New Game Plus mode where you get access to all of Risky's equipment right out of the get-go. So you're going to see runners being able to sprint with Risky's boots. They're going to have the scimitar to smash down, cannons to extend their jump, and pistols to shoot things. So things happen very quickly, and a lot of sequence breaks are available right up front that doesn't require any backtracking. And looks like we're way underway. So probably see some different methodologies here, depending. Both runners might opt to avoid some of these soldiers. Some opt to hit. And the main reason to hit these soldiers, especially the gray-suited ones, is to see if they can get some drops that will help them later in the runs. So we'll see what these runners actually are able to get at this point. It's like Turkey just landed a pike ball, so that's good.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And Tina choosing to kill a few more guards, but not getting rewarded for it. I think we'll probably see a divergence in strategy, because I know Tina likes to do some different things at the start, unless she has changed that up since the last race.
Now, as far as I know, she still sticks with the Wetman key in the first dungeon. We'll likely see Turkey diverge from that, go straight for the boss in that one, and go for an additional key later. But we'll address that as we get there.
Both players deciding to use their pike ball on the bridge here just to get it over with slightly faster. And unless they get extremely unlucky, that should last through Ammo Baron.
Yeah, Turkey with that early pike ball drop doesn't have to worry about having one for what I believe he's going to do for his key route. Tina doing that, it's a little bit of a risk. It makes the potential for some things later interesting, but because of her key routing, it's not really a dire need to have that extra pike ball. So I think both players are exactly where they want to be at this point.
Yeah, Turkey unfortunately got a drop off the last black guard, but it shot up into the air, so we didn't pick it up. So that could have been interesting.
Yeah, it's extremely frustrating. But as they deal with the first boss here, the Ammo Baron, he's a little bit of RNG. He's got a couple of things he can do. The charge is the one thing you don't want to see, and both runners are getting at least a little bit of that. Looks like Tina's getting a little bit more. The other thing he does, obviously, is the cannonball shots. You need the red one to come out so you can pound it into the tank and knock him out of the tank. Ooh, and Tina missed on that one. We'll see if she gets an extra cycle.
I think she should be fine.
Yeah, she's good. Okay. So first boss down, kind of the tutorial stage done. We're going to be dealing with a bit of a cutscene here, a lot of story and whatnot opening up. Basically, to sum it up, Ammo Baron is actually the legal mayor of town right now based on the events of Risky's Revenge, and we've attacked him. The royal palace has a thing to say about that, so we've been issued a court summons and placed under house arrest. And the only thing that you can really do in that case is, well, let's go home and take a bath. One small issue with that, though.
Yeah, no, while Shantae was out, Risky decided to learn how to plumb and installed a bath for us. Very kind of her.
Yeah, but, you know, how do you realize you don't own a bathtub? I'm just very curious about that.
Maybe she moved house recently, even though she didn't, but I don't know.
Yeah, I have no words for it either. But, yep, Risky Boots and the Tinkerbats have crafted this tub, and Risky uses it to bring her to Uncle Mimic's house, where she accuses her of stealing both her gear and her men. Well, we have her gear, so we can't really kind of dispute that. But we did not kidnap the Tinkerbats. But this purple miasma comes around and converts them into a cacklebat, which TKY dispatched very efficiently. I expect the same from Tina here. This will be the only one we kill in the game. They're kind of a plot device in regards to what kind of ending you get, and in a full run, you would normally go around trying to kill all of these and collecting that black magic, but any percent, this will be the only one you actually see killed. We'll see a few more, but the players will ignore them.
Yep, now Turkey heading up to Sky's hatchery to pick up the library card, and then you'll see him drop down and head towards the save guide to do a mandatory save. Without those two, you're not allowed to leave town. Yeah,
it's an annoying mechanic that started with Risky's Revenge and ended with Pirate's Curse. It's very interesting how they've kind of changed their mind about that particular philosophy, but in this particular one, it is mandatory to do that save. We'll see if any safeties are in play, but more importantly, we're going to talk about Scarecrow Fields. You're going to see the runners hitting every Scarecrow possible on the way, and they're really hoping for some very good drops here. Looks like Turkey's getting pretty shafted at this point. He didn't get anything on his first charge through. We'll see what the orcs do for him here. It's a 5-gem. Another 5. Okay, well, at least he got some decent money. He's in a good spot if he wants to think about doing Majati's 2-shop route.
Yeah, that's a really nice shot. I wish I could get that.
Yeah, I've actually had runs before that have been a little bit higher, actually, but not by much. It's really good RNG on that side. Looks like Tina's opting to use this secret hidden gems underneath here just to kind of supplement her flow. So she'll miss out on the orc drops, but has guaranteed herself at least for what she's got planned for shopping as well.
Turkey having to get quite far in to get the final flash pop off the snakes there. So what you'll see on Tina's side as she'll be jumping between the ceiling and the snakes using her scimitar and killing the snake multiple times. And that, in theory, should get her multiple drops. And she just gets 2, I think. Although looks like she's
I think she's good. I think she managed to get 3 at least, maybe 4 out of that. So she should be okay. Turkey looks like he had some really bad RNG there, and the fact that he had to go farm some extras. So that allowed Tina to catch up just a little bit. So this definitely tightens the race up, and pretty much nixes what we saw with the Ammo Baron RNG.
Yeah, they both players neck and neck now, and small things like that, small RNG facts like that will occur all throughout the run. So we could see the lead change multiple times.
All right, so after we get that brochure, which is a little bit of a secret sprite, normally we wouldn't have the pistol to gain access to it, but because, again, pirate mode and having the gear, we can grab that now. We give that over to Squid Baron, who's in a bad need of vacation. He's kind of accepted his fate as being a mid-boss, being our fourth wall breaker character of this game. And we're going to give him that brochure, and he's off to go have fun. So he rewards us with that squid oil, which we'll use later. And turning in those flesh pops gives us the key, which gets us access to this palace, which is necessary to pick up our first map for our first destination in our adventure. So we're going to see what the runners get on the way back, as Turkey is actually using that extra pike ball to be able to kill these orcs. Without it, he would not be able to in the initial charge. So he just netted himself an extra 15 gems on the way back, and we'll see what the scarecrows give. As again, he'll be trying to see if he can get some very rare drops, but hopefully very good.
He gets another pike ball, so he's good on that again for when he'll need it later. But that's about it.
Yeah, that was pretty stingy on the Scarecrow's part. We'll see if Tina gets a little bit better RNG here. Again, she opted to get the gems in that hidden compartment underneath that block room. So she's definitely got something planned from a shopping perspective, having 100 gems up front. You already get 100 just by turning the library card back into Sky. So she's going to come in very, very fat-walleted, I think. I'm going to keep an eye on what she buys.
I believe she buys a lot of potions from what I remember.
Yeah, I think she goes for very early animation skips.
Yeah, Turkey not spending his cash there. He's got 53 gems left over, so he just got the 3 pirate flares and a super pike ball, so not at all changing from his usual tactics.
No, but it cushions him very, very well for later in the run. If RNG doesn't favor him and he needs to do some shopping, he's in actually a pretty good spot. So it's just one of the little mechanics of doing the speed run of this game is paying attention to what drops you get and how it affects your inventory. And versus that, you have to kind of pay attention to your gem count and determine, what you need, when you need it, and plan accordingly. Based on your gem counts. There's a number of places you can actually get gems in routes, so you can take advantage of those if RNG is not helping. If RNG is helping, then you don't need to collect them, and you just keep going in your run.
So Turkey with his ham stink, and I'll be working his way up to the giga limits. Not getting the full skip there, but pausing 3 times, which will skip a blinking animation.
Yeah, you can drop off of the ledge as you trigger the dialogue, which just saves a little bit of time of that ham stink going into the Gigalumix's nose, but it's very difficult. It doesn't have a very consistent setup. You either get it or you don't. But any time save you can get with pause, obviously, is just free, so just go ahead and take that as a win.
Yeah, it looked like Tina bought 3 sets of potions when she shopped, so...
Oh, wow. That's quite a bit, but that's only 75 gems, so... potions being the least expensive item, really, when it comes to that, and if it's for free time saves throughout the run, where every animation skip you can do saves you a good couple of seconds per, it could be worth it. So we're going to see how this plays out. any rate, we're just going to get a quick lesson here. Petrify spells don't unpetrify people. They petrify people. And, well, there's the result on Turkey's screen. And we'll see it again on Tina's here very shortly. I guess you could say that was a heavy lesson.
Anyway, we're now in Spittle Maze. So, well, what we'll be doing is you see Turkey heading to the left here, heading into a secret dungeon, which is a homage to the Game Boy Color game. So what he'll be doing here is collecting 2 keys, and the reason for that is that keys work anywhere. So grabbing a key here, he will be able to use it later on in the run.
Thank you for ignoring the pun. I really regret it the second I said it, so we're good. So yeah, that's an advantage we're taking of here. I mean, the game doesn't restrict the keys that we grab to a specific dungeon, so the time going in here is actually a lot shorter than the intended route of going through what's intended later, where those keys will actually be put into place. So, this is a great place, and thank you, WayForward, for putting this retro dungeon in place here. We just have to kind of go for that.
You'll have seen Tina there do the animation skip with the potion. So the way that works is by using a potion or a food item as you're landing on a key. Actually, didn't use it. As you use a potion or a food item as you're landing on a key, you will do as Turkey gets a flesh pot. That will not be what he wanted.
No, he was definitely looking for a monster milk there, but that's the more rare drop of the snakes. But it's always worth it. I mean, you can melt this next boss down. It's definitely worth going for. But it's not that big a deal. You're going to see a very interesting mechanic reapplied here as Tina's catching, or not really catching up, but you're going to see the routes diverge here. Where Turkey went through that door in that room after the save man, you're going to see Tina go down. And what she's going to do is go pick up 1 extra key here. This is kind of her dedicated route, what she goes for. And she'll be carrying that key forward as well. Throughout the remainder of the run and ready for some later parts. So the next time we'll see these runners diverge will be in our next labyrinth or dungeon, Cackle Tower, and we'll see kind of where the disparity is at that particular point. And she's rewarded with a lobster tail for it, so that's another free extra animation skip that she can use. I'm surprised she's not going for any, considering what she's purchased so far.
Yeah, that seems strange to me. You think, especially because she got a lobster tail on the way back through Scarecrow Fields as well, so she should have more than enough animation skips for most of the remainder of the run, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't fault her for it, because again, time lost for menuing, right? So, every time you go into the menu, it's going to cost you a little bit of time, and she knows who she's up against. I mean, Turkey is a world record holder, so she knows she's got to at least really kind of go at a relatively fast pace, and just hope RNG favors her a little bit better. As Turkey dispatches our first boss, very simply, again, using that mechanic we leveraged in the sewers, where we get pinned between the ceiling and the boss's hitbox, being able to deal massive damage because there is no invincibility frames to those bosses, and just melting his HP down by getting pincered there. So, well done fight by Turkey, and we'll see how Tina fares here.
As Turkey all messes up his dash there, unfortunately costing him a few seconds. He'll be running off Saliva Island. Some people choose to use a pirate flare there just to save about, I think, 6 seconds, I think it is. But yeah, most people run off, and then we're heading over to Spiderweb.
Yeah, Spiderweb Island is a fun little place here. It's very dark and very damp. It's raining, there's a storm going on, but the moon is out. I mean, at least it's still very picturesque. But there's a lot of dead things here. We're going to see a bunch of zombies, particularly ghosts, which are probably the biggest trolls and the worst things that you really don't want to deal with as they ascend these upcoming vertical rooms. And the way the ghost works is a bit of RNG. We know whereabouts they can spawn, but we don't know exactly where they will. And sometimes they like to appear right just in time to knock you back down. Turkey getting lucky in the first room, no problems there navigating up. But if you do take a hit, they basically do 2 points of damage, and they also punish you by usually knocking you down to the bottom of the room. So we'll see how that room goes. Turkey had no problem, but he's going to be entering our favorite part of the run. Yay.
Yep, so Tina using a potion to skip the animation of the map pickup. So that's an interesting choice there. Yeah, as Turkey starts Run Run Rotty Tops, which is his favourite section. Don't let him tell you otherwise. It's absolutely his favourite section of the game.
Yeah, he loves to hear you tell him that is his favorite part.
And he'll pretend like he doesn't like it and call you crazy for saying he likes it, but it's just ignore him. Anyway, Run Run Rotty Tops. If you get hit by any of the enemies or obstacles here, you get sent back to the start of the room. You don't have any health, so you can take as many hits as you want, but you probably don't want any because you want a good time.
Yeah, there's not a lot of opportunity here to save time. It's what we affectionately call the auto-scroller of this game. You know, there's not really a lot of auto-scrolling elements, as Turkey was trying to manipulate that tongue below to trigger early and didn't quite do it, so he had to wait it out. So this is probably the most auto-scrolling part of the room. These SMB3-esque blocks are on some sort of timer. We're not exactly sure exactly when they start, but when they start, you can't do much about it. And he's getting a rather favorable pattern. I mean, he didn't have to wait for the first one, was able to progress pretty quickly, but again, they're cycle-based. You can't get around them in any way, shape, or form. You've just got to kind of wait for them to recede and be able to move forward. So this part feels like an eternity, and you know, you can only do the best you can. The main thing is avoid deaths, and we'll try to point out some minor time saves if they get done in this area.
Yeah, it feels like an eternity, but actually takes 2, so...
Oh, Tina getting hit by Gatekeeper. He only got her once.
The second time, yeah. As Turkey's now onto the gravestone room, where we know which ones can come alive. So you'll see him jump over some what look like just completely at random, but he knows which ones can come alive, so he'll be avoiding them, and does so extremely well.
Yeah, it's important to know exactly which ones, because they can pop up at any time. As Turkey does everyone's favorite trick, the stake jump, just a little bit of swag, saves no time, but you know, jumping into that hitbox, which doesn't spawn for an extra second or so, it just looks really cool. And we'll now be trained to play dodge the kissy robot. I mean, they just only want to spread the love, but it seems like Turkey is not willing to let them do that for him today.
He's already loved out and run Rotty Top, so he can't handle anymore.
Fair enough, fair enough. I mean, when you get to carry a zombie through this kind of forest, I guess, you know, you've already given enough love out. Why give a little bit more? All right, so Turkey got through probably one of the longer rooms. It's not a particularly difficult one, but that room, if you do take a death, can be punishing just because of the back and forth and how big it is. It's no big deal. I mean, those robots, you can slightly outrun them, so they're not a problem unless you bonk on a jump that you were trying to do that. But he's now in our room beginning to introduce the Stevens, and these Stevens shoot little Stevens. It's a little meme that kind of generated with this tournament. Thank you, Cabbage Game, for that. And it's kind of just grown on the community, and we all use it. And he gets trolled by Gates of Hell, unfortunately. We'll see if the mini Stevens keep him from going, but I think he's got at least an okay pattern. Nope, he had to skip out on Taco Jump there, so not a huge time loss. This is like the last real time save that he had, but the mini Stevens basically kept him from getting through there.
Yes, Turkey's now onto the final room, which is a long room, but has all the enemies, all the obstacles you've encountered so far, all put together. And if you die towards the end, you get sent back to the start of the room, and it could be up to about 40-second time loss, so it can be very costly.
Yeah, this room is the scariest one for any runner because you know what's at stake, and these two tombstones can have a say. They tried. If they'd have gone a little earlier, that's what we call the pincer of death or the hug of death. And Turkey, being very aware of it, did a short jump to get in between them before jumping again. It's the best way you can mitigate that. It gives you a couple of frames to be able to react if you see it happening, and gets out of Run Rotty Tops very, very clean.
Yeah, that's definitely a decent time to be leaving Run there. So with Rotty dropped off, who's not actually injured, she just wanted to be carried through the section, and who can blame her? He'll be now about to pick up the item he needs to get into the next dungeon.
Yeah, this item is extremely important, by the way. You really can't deny its presence, as it definitely announces itself. So that squid oil we got from Squid Baron, very useful for making sure that wagon wheels turn. As Tina does pull off the taco jump there at the end of that one Stevens room, and will now be entering her final room. But we're going to get a status check on the shriveled thing. And I'm going to guess, yep, it smells.
Always the case. One day it won't. One day it just won't be any text there.
Well, to be honest, it doesn't specify. I mean, think about it, Majadi. It just says it smells. It doesn't say if it smells good or bad. It just smells. Or maybe it actually physically smells, like it's sniffing the air as you're holding it. I'm not sure.
I think we need to ask a way forward to extend that text box into several paragraphs of unskippable text, just to clarify for us.
Yes, but since you can't skip that, and it's weird that you can't skip that one text dialogue, we're going to have to definitely see what we can find out. All right, well, Turkey is in our next lab of evil, the Tackle Tower, and this is where, again, you're going to see a divergence of routing. Turkey is now going down and heading over to get his next key that he's wanting to carry over to a future dungeon here. And he's hoping for some drops. I think I only saw a regular pipe ball at the end. He didn't get anything prior to that. This route is particularly interesting because there is a good RNG chance of getting things like super pike balls, super monster milk, as demonstrated there, which is exactly what he's looking for. That Batgirl has a high chance of dropping a super monster milk or a super pike ball, or in my case, 100% chance of dropping a pirate flare. So Turkey got exactly what he wanted to see there, and Tina will be ignoring that room because she got her extra key in the prior dungeon.
Yeah, no, I see most runners go for that key simply because of the drop chance from the skeletons who can drop a super pike ball, as well as the Batgirl, and if you get a drop from her, that's significantly less farming you have to do later on.
Yeah, any drop you can get, especially the super variety, and increasing the chance of getting that drop is certainly helpful because the super items are the most powerful things. You definitely use them on any and every boss as you go through the game. And they are very useful, but they're also very expensive. And if you don't get those drops, you have to do some gem farming a little bit, collect some extra money. So, it costs a good 12 seconds or 20 seconds, depending on how fast you menu, to purchase items just going into that shop. So you definitely want RNG on your side for a good time. And so far, runners are getting okay, but I haven't seen super great. Good setup on Tina for that animation skip, taking that panel falling to take the damage there and then just be able to trigger the potion.
Turkey trying to do the quick strategy here on Emperor Spider by jumping into her hitbox, and then if you whip as you're about to be hit, you don't get knocked back. Unfortunately, not quite getting the timing right, and he did get knocked out. But he took it sail and gets knocked out again. Yeah,
this hasn't been the cleanest of fights for him. I mean, he's done very well with it, and the most important thing, he did defeat without losing his auto potion. But yeah, that's a very difficult trick. You can't guarantee that if you get that whip timing wrong, you don't get stunned in the air, but take that knockback damage. Obviously, you're losing DPS opportunity. It was still a good fight by Turkey. It wasn't what we would say optimal, and I would say he's disappointed in it. But I would consider it still a good fight. I mean, importantly, he still has his auto potion for safety or a potential skip later, depending on which way he would decide to go.
Yeah, no, it's still a really good fight as Tina's now making her way. She's playing it a bit safer, but still going in for the hitbox occasionally.
Yeah, she's taking a little bit safer route, just kind of staying just outside of that hitbox. She is trying to get the occasional strikes. She got a couple in there, but it was a really good fight, very solid. Not bad. That super pike ball obviously helps to melt that spider down, and that's the important piece.
So Turkey now on Townline Island. We'll have a short visit here, as we'll be going through his cactuses, hoping for a bubble shield or monster milk, and gets a monster milk.
Nice. So yeah, those cactuses are beginning of where the RNG really matters in this particular run. This is where you really anticipate or hope that you're going to get the items that you need for the remainder. There's a lot of good opportunities here, but sometimes the game will give and other times it won't. But hey, there's our good friend Squid Baron. We sent him here on a vacation. He doesn't look too happy, though. Yeah, unfortunately, it is the off-season for the vacation spot that we sent him to, so instead of being happy, he gives us his X-ray glasses, and with that, we're going to go on a little bit of a fetch quest. So we got to do a little bit of side questing here. I'm going to see what Tina gets on her charge to the tech guy. Ooh, a bunch of just regular gems, so she's not going to be too happy with that. And I believe neither runner at this point, Majadi, correct me if I'm wrong, neither one has gotten a bubble shield so far.
That is correct, to my knowledge, unless I missed it. Yeah, I don't think either one has, as Tina choosing to kill a Scorp Girl there and getting punished with 5 gems.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, you spend a little bit of time to kill those, where Turkey probably will ignore at least the ones that he doesn't have to kill. But it's a 20 to 25% chance to get either a Super Monster Milk or a Super Pike Ball, but that other 75% is a big fiver, and that's the one you usually get. This route used to involve a lot of Scorp Gal grinding, but Turkey kind of rerouted the game, knowing where gems were hidden in this game, and allowed RNG to play its course, but knowing that there was plenty of backups in place. So you'll see that philosophy pretty much spread about. Oh, Tina just missing potential Bubble Shield drop there.
Yeah, either Bubble Shield or Meat Chunklet, which would have been a handy either way. But yeah, it's unfortunate when that happens.
Yeah, sometimes you hit them just a little too late in their hitbox. They die. You see the item drop, but can't really stop yourself to go back for it. She's having a little trouble on this revisit.
Interesting what Turkey buys here is he still has a bunch of gems from earlier, so he's getting his 5 Pirate Flares and a Super Milk.
Yep. 5 flares and Super Milk. So he's pretty much set on flares for the rest of the run.
Well, Tina has to be very careful here.
Yeah, good thing she had that stock of potions. Opting to heal here and not lose her auto potion. That mermaid row is very brutal. If you get out of cycle with them, they can punish you, as you just saw. And wisely taking a heal, she wants to keep that auto potion. I'm not sure for safety or if she's got another plan for it, but most likely safety. We'll see what Turkey's getting here. I see 1 Super Pike. I didn't see him get anything from the cacti. So
Nothing
he's I'd say marginally happy. I think he wants a little bit more milk, though.
Yeah. Important to note is that he does not have a Bubble Shield, which is why he collected those gems there, just in case he gets another Super Pike Ball on his way back.
Which he did, so he's in a good spot on Super Pikes. Those extra gems, it's only 30, I think 25 or 30 for a Bubble Shield.
25.
So, yeah, 25 for a Bubble Shield. It's not the most expensive item, but it's extremely important to have. You really need it for the final boss fight. An extra one certainly helps with a boss later as well, but not necessary. So those extra gems he grabbed obviously are just in preparation. He's not planning to do another shop if RNG is going to let him. And we'll see what he gets from a milk perspective.
Yeah, Tina picking up a Super Monster Milk as well as 3 Pirate Flares. She'll be doing another shop, and she gets a Monster Milk.
Indeed. Turkey now is doing what we call Metal Gear Shantae. As soon as we enter this temple, we're immediately mistaken for this temple's princess. And they didn't want her running away again, so nice Super Pike Ball drop. Maybe 2 in Tina's case, I'm not sure. But we've got to do a little bit of a stealth section on Turkey's side of the run here, and Tina will be joining that one very shortly. Being mistaken for the princess, they throw us in prison, they change our clothes very, very quickly, getting us ready for the coronation and not wanting to run away. Again, another Super Pike Ball for Tina.
She got 2 on the way back through, so that's 3 total from that, which is pretty much good for the rest of the run now.
Yeah, from her milk perspective, she'll be fine. But apologies on that. So I keep watching Tina, but trying to talk about what Turkey's up to. These guards have very short-sighted, but they're keen, and you don't want to be seen by them. It's very punishing when you do. You can't do anything too much to move it along, but Turkey having a very clean escape. I mean, he didn't get caught. He did at least the 1 cycle last guard room pretty well. I had a little trouble at the beginning, but it wasn't punishing. I think he got up there before the cycles got out of whack for him and got out of there free. We're going to see what happens with Tina here. Again, there's a couple of things you can do to move things along. You could take this extremely safe, and in the tournament, I can't blame anyone for doing so. That said, though, there's some ways to go a little bit forward, and using the shadows and the limited sight range of these guards can play in your advantage. But the problem is, obviously, if you get caught, it's extremely punishing from a time perspective. So you really want to do whatever you can.
Yeah, Turkey's on for a decent pace here at the moment, especially if he does get a Bubble Shield in the next dungeon, which means he won't have to shop again.
Yeah, sub 30 Tan Line Temple exit is an extremely good pace. He's probably on for at least his tournament average, maybe a little bit better. Turkey's been hitting 51s very consistently, which is an extremely good time. There's only a few people that even have PBs at that rate. There's 2 people sub 51 right now, and Turkey's pace is extremely good at this point. So we'll see how the rest of the run plays out for him. There's some execution that's got to come up, as well as some RNG luck. I think that he's still banking on from the milk perspective, but he's very, very solidly performing right now.
Yeah, I think he only needs 1 more milk because he bought a super milk, got the super milk off the back girl, and got a regular milk as he checks his inventory there for free.
Yeah, that's a free menu check there because there's no time lost while that music tone is playing. You're allowed to just kind of sit there, take stock of your inventory, determine what do I need. I know he's still missing a bubble. He's going to hope for that coming up in the next coming dungeon. If he doesn't get it, we'll see an extra top. Ooh, nice momentumless boots. Good job
that's
with
very
that.
nice. Yeah, that's one of a few places that can come in handy during the run. It's a difficult trick to pull off.
Yeah, it's pretty much frame perfect in regards to the inputs to do that, but saves you the extra 2 seconds it takes to charge up the risky shuffle. Yeah, he's opting out of that key there. I'm not surprised by this with his RNG. He's going to go straight down and go for it and see what he gets in this next room.
Yeah, so these 4 cactuses are extremely important here. And he does not get a bubble shield or an extra milk, so he'll be hoping for a milk off one of the Scorp gals. Otherwise, he'll be 1 short as well.
That might be it right there. Pike ball,
there
monster milk. Yep. Yeah, so he's good on the offensive side. The only thing he's worried about right now is the missing bubble shield. And he's got enough gems to easily do that. So he'll probably take an extra stop for safe and backs out of the 1 cycle, and I don't blame him. I don't think he quite got it.
I think it was a bit late in it. Yeah, if he picks up another 3 gems, that's enough to get him 2 bubble shields or a potion pack, which either one is useful.
Yeah, we'll see what he does on his next shop then, but RNG is definitely favored Turkey in this run. I mean, Tina's not getting bad RNG. It just seems like Turkey's being able to roll with his just slightly better, as Tina is not happy with hers, apparently. Is still opting to go after some Scorp gals here. Well, rewarded for the Super Monster Belt, so that's not bad. And again, another Super Monster Belt. Nice. That's really good RNG from Tina. So she's got to be happy about her milk situation, I'd say.
Yeah, and she got those 3 super pikes from the skeletons, so she'll be good, I think. She decided to do another one, though.
Yeah, not too happy, apparently, but only getting a 5 gemmer there. So I'm not sure what she's hunting for. I think I'd be very happy with the drops that I've gotten at this point, but we'll see what she has in mind. I mean, again, I'm not super familiar with her routing and what she's going for, but
yeah, that was while we didn't talk about it, that was a very nice Squid Baron fight from Turkey. We'll be able to see it on Tina's side when she gets there momentarily, but by killing the first phase of Squid Baron at a certain point, you can manipulate what ability he does at the start of the second phase, which lets you get a bunch of free damage on him.
yeah, he's a very scripted fight. Like, you know what he's going to do when he's going to do it. Oh, nice monster belt drop for Tina. And Turkey, I think with his drops, I didn't see exactly what he equipped, but he had no problem with the fight. There's a couple of schools of thought there. If you've got enough super items, you can just go all out on him and know that he's going to charge after you've taken out his first phase and anticipate the charge afterwards. But generally, a lot of runners try to get him during his second charging phase, knowing he'll be set up to eat. Okay, Tina smartly opting out of that 1 cycle one as well. She was going to get squished and quickly took refuge in that hole there.
Yeah, Turkey used both Super Monster Milk and Super Pipe Ball during his fight, as Tina does the same.
Yeah, so he went all the way out. Tina's going to go all the way out, so they're just basically going to kill him as quickly as they can. But Turkey's now traversing the casual's nightmare, as we refer to it. Any casual player that got here the first time probably got steamrolled quite a bit. There's a lot going on in this island. The pirate gear trivializes this quite significantly, as you're seeing Turkey doing. With proper times of jumps and cannons, you are able to keep your charge very, very well, other than that 1 save room guy, which requires, again, a momentumless boots to pull off. But Turkey having no trouble avoiding the ceiling, which can slow your progress, as well as the items on the floor that can stop your progress, and avoiding getting mobbed. So very well done by Turkey through Mudbog Island.
Yes, Tina has a very nice Squid Baron fight, kept it on the script and kept it clean because of that.
And so Turkey's going through the Village of Lost Souls. We've got a little bit of side questing to do here. You're going to see Turkey going around picking up these chests for 3 coins. This is where the damage spikes a little bit on any casual runner they weren't expecting. A lot of things in this particular one do 4 points of damage, which for those keeping track at home, that's 1 full heart. And you'll notice both runners are running with 2 hearts, so there is no health upgrades being picked up here. So this place can get very dangerous if you don't deal with the mobs very, very carefully, and you got to kind of respect that they're there. But the advantage of this mode is the risky charge, which that delay that he did going into that room was extremely important to avoid an invisible wall that keeps you from just running through. But again, managing these mobs very carefully is important because you're on such low health. You want to keep that auto potion for safety or for a potential skip later, depending on runner preference. And it can turn really bad very fast if you let things get out of hand. So you'll see both these runners, I think, handling it very well. Tina just buying a couple of pirate flares on that shop and still has 125 gems.
That's an interesting choice. Yeah, surprised she didn't buy, and she could afford a DPS upgrade if she was good on items even, so...
I've only seen a couple of runners throw in maybe like a Silky Cream for the additional DPS of hair whipping, but not many do. The gem count usually doesn't accommodate, especially with RNG. Both runners in a good spot, though, and I'm not really... I don't know. It's not necessarily part of the school of thought, I think, to go that route, but see what happens here.
Turkey getting heads, tails on his first try through the gamers.
Oh, these gamers. Everyone loves to hate them. So, yeah, this is the ultimate game of skill, aka RNG. It's literally a 50-50 chance on getting it right, and you really want to avoid having the menu, so all runners pretty much go for heads as their choice. If you get it wrong, you're sent back to the beginning with the blue gamer. Way forward in their kindness, though, does have a failsafe in place. If you lose the game 3 times, no matter what you pick on your 4th go through, it'll be right. But menuing is slow. We don't want to go to tails, so we usually stick to heads. There are a number of runners who have adopted kind of a heads, tails strat with that, and sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, no, I've tried that a few times and it failed, so I've just gone back to heads.
The one time I did it, it worked.
Yeah, I tried it a few times, got heads, tails, and then as soon as I switched back to heads, I kept getting nothing but heads, tails, so...
Oh. Super punishment by the gamers then, but Turkey did have an unfortunate gamers. It's not too much of a time loss, but it feels like an eternity when you're having to be sent back to that blue gamer. But quickly, obviously, once we do get past that, we give that locket to that very extremely healthy, very, very, well, I won't say alive, this is obviously a place of the dead, but Roddy Top's look-alike, and then we turn that flame in for some Old Spice, which we used to enter this dungeon. It only wants the smelliest of the smelly, and it's the only way to enter here. But Turkey demonstrating just how broken the Risky Shuffle is, and doing that particular little trick right there in front of that block and breaking through ignores a huge part of this dungeon. The intended mechanic is the elevator puzzle, getting those elevators aligned in the middle one so you can just charge across and then run through. But the Risky Shuffle allows us to ignore that, and you just go straight to the boss, whom he is now facing at this moment.
Tina having a little trouble with the ghost there, taking 2 hits on her way back through, so she has to be careful here as the hit from any of these Nagas here or the Reapers in the next room will kill her from here.
I think she still has her auto potion, so it's not dangerous, but she'd lose her safety. Turkey having no problem with Dagger on the massively misspelled monstrosity. Using a regular Monster Milk Super Pike Ball, it's a 3-cycle. That boss can be particularly dangerous if you let him get out of control, but staying on those outside pillars in the background at least gives you a good lineup to avoid letting that happen, and Turkey handling it very, very well as we would expect.
Yep,
and animation skipping the map. Yep.
So that indicates to me he's going to be buying potions. He's going to be doing a shop on Frostbite, picking up a bubble shield and 3 potions.
Yeah, it looks like that's potential. He's got 50 gems to do it, so he's gotten enough just by killing monsters that get in his way without having to do any additional farming. It still keeps his really good pace intact. I mean, a low 38 kill on Dagron or even a high 38 is a really good pace.
Yeah, so 51 pace, not sub 51.
Yeah, it's unfortunately, but we'll see how it plays out. I mean, Maggot could change that. We'll see what kind of RG gets there.
Here's Tina now about to head into the oubliette herself, but yeah, she has to still be careful. She is at 1 health. Thankfully, there's a full health pickup fairly on in this dungeon, so I imagine we'll see her pick that up. And it is fairly safe to get through the dungeon. You usually don't take any damage here.
Yeah, it's not hard to navigate, even with that full health as an option. It's generally easy enough to skip, but she's definitely taking it. I don't blame her. Going into Dagron, you'd like to have that full health in case you make a mistake. As now Turkey, obviously going from very hot to very cold, obviously neglecting these wolves, and I don't blame him with the RNG he's gotten to this point. There's no reason to bank on the 1% drop of the Super Monster Month or Super Pike Ball off of them. So save the time by just going.
Yeah, Super Pike Ball would help him one cycle steal Maggot potentially, as he is only down to 1 Super Pike Ball, and he'll probably be using that for Pirate Master. So there is a reason to do it, but it's a very, very low drop chance, and the chance of even getting a 1 cycle on Steel Maggot is extremely small anyway.
Yeah, I don't think he's banking on that. I think he's just looking to finish the run. Most likely, as he doesn't do his normal setup for an auto potion jump there. We'll see if he decides to maybe do it later, but I know he's very versed in the bosses in all matters. Like, he's been running this game almost as long as I have personally, so he's got a lot of experience under his belt and has dealt with the bosses in many different configs. So if he's going to use a regular Pike Ball on Maggot, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, no, it's the same 2 cycle as a Super Pike Ball would get you, but yeah, Super Pike Ball has if you get Maggot lined up exactly underneath the ceiling, you can 1 cycle in, but it's extremely difficult to do.
Yeah, the timing has to be perfect. You have to pretty much nail him right on cue, get the damage out as much as you can, and to make that happen. Very rare that you'll ever see that in this particular mode, but there's only a few people I know that could do it. Turkey's going to opt out on the auto potion jump. Didn't even cross his mind by the look of it. He had no thoughts of doing it at all.
Yeah, it can be a very costly trick if you do miss it. So not only do you lose your safety, you do lose a bunch of time from it. So
yeah,
choosing to skip it, obviously, in the quarterfinal of a tournament might not be worth the risk to him.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, the time save of the menuing it takes to be able to deal with it, because you have to menu to get to the potion, and then after talking to Bolo here, getting the target module, menu back to your flare. Even though it feels like it's 10 seconds time save, it's probably about half of that when you really get to it. So I don't blame anyone for really skipping it. I think you'd save that for a different situation in this regard. But Turkey's going to do some backtracking right now. After we got everything from that little trek, obviously we didn't find our Den of Evil, so there's something else we got to do. We're going to take a quick visit and take that lost soul we got from beating Dagron. And who else knows about the dead but the dead? So we're going to go visit our zombie friends on Spiderweb and take this soul to Roddy and her brother Abner and see what they have to tell us.
I think it's the soul of Dagron.
Could be. No, unfortunately, it's the soul of Joe, and I don't mean a cup of coffee. I mean, look at that mustache. You can't deny the super funky, fresh mustache of Joe.
And by handing him the Death Mask Abner, we also get an additional Pirate Flare, which is very useful. Saves us 30 gems. As we'll be seeing what Turkey will probably be doing in his shop, I imagine, after he's gone through Scarecrow Fields.
Yeah, considering he got the 5 flares earlier, he doesn't need to stop in here for any flares. And of course, as anticipated, he's going to avoid these scarecrows, even though they have the potential of dropping a super pike ball for him. He's very confident and very happy with what he's got in his inventory. He's not looking for any more drops. He's just looking to complete the game here. So we'll be dodging all the monsters just to save the time of the pause of running into them. And we'll see very quickly our good friend, Legally Distinct He-Man, a.k.a. Branson, and return that blade that we got back in the desert. He's very happy to see that.
Yeah, definitely. Or as Tina takes a death to one of the spikes on the climb up here in Propeller Town, so not a huge time loss, but time loss nonetheless.
Yeah, that didn't look intentional either. I'm not sure what happened there, but it seemed like her hat gave out on her for some reason, dropping her into that block. So very unfortunate. but she's recovered from it very nicely and is doing the very fun platforming section here, coasting over the entire section with the hat and just timing the cannon just to stay up in that air, up in the air. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, almost certainly going to see Turkey going for a shop hit. Although he could leave it for after Steel Maggot, but if he wants to get potions or another bubble shield for Steel Maggot, he'll do it now. It's probably less of a time loss to do it now.
Yeah, I don't know unless he's going to opt out on it, but nope, he's definitely diving into the shop there. I thought about it for a second, was like, well, you could get the bubble shield at least right before the Pirate Master. He's only going to go with the.
If he gets it on the way, sorry, yeah, you continue.
Yeah, he got the potion pack and the bubble, so he's only going to have the bubble for the final boss of the Pirate Master. He's going to take on Steel Maggot as normal.
Yeah, the reason he went there is if he goes on the way to Pirate Master, he'll build up his charge to the shop entrance, then just have to stop and enter it, so he's actually losing more time going that way, so it makes sense to go there.
Yeah, fair enough. I never really thought about it in that aspect, but yeah, it definitely makes a lot of sense here. He'll be using those potions he bought, by the way, as he demonstrated there, to skip the animation of the keys, and because he didn't grab the extra one in the catacombs, he'll be going for all three here, so rather than skipping this vertical one, which a lot of them that pick up the catacombs key will do, he's going to go up here, but again, those potions are going to negate a lot of the time that is usually wasted through the collection of these keys to get through this dungeon. And again, Pirate Gear showing its true colors, plus just being able to just bulldoze this particular dungeon and avoiding a lot of what was necessary to get through here.
Yeah, and by using an animation skip on this key here, he'll be able to get the ice block set up exactly how he wants it, so it shouldn't trouble him.
I think a lot of us thought that. I've actually seen that not work in that case. I've seen a block get somebody after doing that animation skip, so still in question on exactly what timer cycle that particular block is on.
It's but generally from when you enter the room. It's from when you enter the room, definitely.
Ooh, Turkey not getting a very good pattern off of Maggot, trying to squeeze out that extra shot there and getting rewarded with a nice shot to the face, which does 1 heart of damage. Fortunately, the Monster Milk does heal, and he's going to go with the regular Pike Ball Super Monster Milk, so we're going to see a 2-cycle here for sure. Wow, bad codes for Turkey today.
Yeah, and by the way, be careful if he doesn't want to lose his auto potion here.
No, he definitely does, and I think he'll take it cautious at this point. So this boss is a bit of RNG. Those buttons on the back and the code that opens his weak point in the tail there is complete RNG, and it's a guessing game. And you can do what Turkey did there and chance the hits. They are punishing, but you can deal with it because if you miss again, get behind them, duck, and those shots are no threat. So experience obviously kicking in there. It wasn't the most optimal fight, but Turkey handled it very, very well considering the buffs that he had available.
It'll be interesting to see what Tina does in her shopping now. She does have plenty of gems, and I believe she's good on items. Don't think she has a bubble shield yet, so I imagine we'll see that.
Super Monster Milk, 2 bubbles, and a potion pack. Yeah, I'm not surprised she's going to go for some animation skips there. Getting the extra bubble should help her on Steel Maggot, I believe, because obviously as you hover over that where Turkey was taking those shots, Tina can use a bubble there and ignore those projectiles and basically get free additional attempts at the code without worrying about her health and losing an auto potion.
Yeah, as Turkey on his way to the Pirate Master scares off the birds, so again, as in the race earlier, I'm not sure why the birds are attacking birds, but there we go.
Sometimes if you're not happy with your run, you got to take your frustration out on somebody, and that seagull is very tempting. I think Turkey and I both call him Steven Seagull. A little bit of a pun on the action actor, but we're not a big fan of him. I think we both tend to go for him a lot, so I'm not surprised to see that. All right, final charge for Turkey here. He's going to avoid taking any additional pauses here. He's going to go for the over strat. Nails it perfectly. Didn't run into anything, didn't shoot anything with a cannon, so well done there. That saves a little bit of time because normally you just charge through the stone pillars down below that have respawned at this point of the game and pause every time you hit unless you're at full speed and health, but is now starting his ascent up the Pirate Master's Palace, which is a very intricate platforming section here. The intended route is we're supposed to go in these doors and go through some very difficult, very painful, and very slow rooms to progress through this tower and get up to the levels. But the hat lifts us up an extra pixel, and using it twice in conjunction with a cannon used perfectly, as Turkey's demonstrating here, allows you to skip all of that. And yeah, very well done by Turkey. Extremely good ascent.
Yeah, and he might just, if he gets a really good Pirate Master fight here, is on for a sub 51, but it'll be very close.
Yeah, it's going to be extremely tight, but I believe he's coming in full buffs, and depending on the patterns that he gets from the Pirate Master, will determine. He's not too dangerous. Pirate Master does have the ability to one-shot Shantae, but the bubble shield being the necessity of the run, it negates that, the latter part here. And the only thing Turkey's got to worry about is just bumping into the Pirate Master, which is only 4 damage or 1 heart, so getting some favorable patterns there. A couple of middles allows him to get some extra DPS in there, and as long as he handles these platform cycles good, which intentional tanking of damage there gets him. So GG to Turkey. That's going to be a sub 50 or sub 51.
Yeah, sub 51 in game, but an official SRL time of 51 minutes and 9 seconds.
Yeah, it took him a bit probably to hit the dot done in SRL, and that's a thing, but well done by Turkey. Extremely solid run, right up there with his best times that he's been putting forth throughout this entire tournament so far. So, again, being very, very consistent in his entire stint through this tournament. We'll be moving on to the semifinals to face 17 Bird next week, so we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, a bird off then in the semi-finals.
And it's going to be important to note at this point, as we move into the semi-final round, it's going to move to a best 2 of 3. So the person who's going to progress has to win 2 matches out of 3 in order to progress. So 17 Bird, just as a fun fact, I think when we entered this tournament, 17 Bird had recently moved very, very close to Turkey's time in PB, and we thought that was going to be our finals match, but didn't quite play that way in the group stages. So it's going to be extremely hype watching these 2 runners go against each other. Both very, very skilled, both very, very good at what they do, and I expect a lot of very close matches between those 2, as that's been set up here. Tina's going to move on and start dealing and contend with her ascent. So we'll see how she does. Again, intricate platforming. Can lose some time here in going up. And I think I see Turkey also ready for an interview here.
Yeah, let's bring him in.
All right.
GG Turkey, yeah, congratulations on that run. That was a fantastic time. Sub 51 in game time, real time, I believe.
2 things I'm not a big fan of right now: snakes and my phone. Yeah, no, I can't really complain overall. Really, the snakes gave me a troll. I've got the first two flesh pops. Okay, looks like I'm going to be good. Nothing. Oh, great. Okay. So I get nothing from that, and then what happens? Spin a maze, I get another flesh pop from another snake. Damn it. Just one of them, unfortunately. I mean, yeah, my phone got dot done, hit it, wouldn't register, had to erase it and re-enter dot done, so I have no idea if it was a sub 51 overall, but either way, 5109 officially, I'm certainly not going to complain. RNG was really good overall.
Yeah,
I think it's about a 50-56 when you kill Pirate Master.
We're watching Tina just finish up here on the Pirate Master. She's purposely tanking the damage using her auto potion, which is a completely valid strat. Easily handling him and finishing second place with an official SRL time, 54:09. So GG to Tina as well. Congrats on her run, and looks like she is also ready for an interview. So we'll go ahead and bring her in here. Hello, Tina.
Hey, hey.
Hey, GG on your run. Congrats on finishing.
Thank you, thank you.
So I think I'm just going to say this. I think for both runners, RNG was pretty okay for both of you all. Maybe we read it wrong. I know Bubble Shield was like the one big lacking piece, but I want to get both of your guys' thoughts in regards to how the game was treating you from an RNG perspective.
Oh, RNG was wonderful for me.
For the most part, mine was very good. As mentioned, I had the troll from the snakes in the sewers. And yeah, I just got lacked on a bubble shield, which I took a little bit of a gamble on by purchasing the Super Monster Milk. I had a feeling my gems would be in the right position after the gems I had at the opener. So apart from that, 3 Super Monster Milks overall, 1 purchased, and 3 Super Pipe Balls, I believe. So yeah, the main bulk of the RNG was very favourable.
It was extremely good to see both runners having that, and the execution on the bosses I thought were extremely solid from both of you. Maybe you guys have different thoughts. I know there was a couple of different configuration changes in regards to that, but overall, how do you guys feel you dealt with your bosses respectively?
For me, very well. Still, Maggot gave me a little hassle, but that was down to the RNG and the configuration. But apart from that, pretty much took him down without too much hassle. I don't believe I had any real issues with any of them, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't have any large mishaps. A little bit of execution I think I would have preferred to clean up, but overall I think not too terrible.
Nice. Anyway, GG again, Tina.
Yeah, GG as well. You're the person that I had slated for winning the tournament, so this is not a particularly big surprise for me.
Well, I was nervous going in like any of us, and plus I've said from the start, anything can happen in a race, you never know. So I don't never assume anything, just do what we can and hopefully entertain and have a good time ourselves.
Absolutely.
Mishadi, do you have any other questions for our runners tonight?
Only thing is, Turkey, any reason you didn't go for the auto potion jump?
Couple actually. One, it's a quarterfinals, one and done. So if I'd have gone for that and then had a mess up and died, then that would have been me done. So I did not want to take that gamble. I got one other, which pretty much down to just being in general tired. I had to get up early today for real life things. So again, just didn't want to take that risk in general.
Yeah, fair enough. Can't blame you.
All right. Well, if no one has any further questions or any remarks, I guess I'll ask actually, Tina, any further remarks regarding the tournament and your run through it?
No, it's been super fun. It's been really great to see so many people playing Shantae all at once. Usually this particular speed community has 1 or 2 active runners at most at any given time. So just seeing so much Shantae has been an absolute blast.
Yeah, the best say the dedication, the improvement from everyone in this tournament as well has amazed me. I can't be any happier, really, to be fair.
Yeah, same here. It exceeded my expectations up to this point. I'm looking forward to seeing this come to a head. And speaking of Turkey, you're now moving on to the semis, and your thoughts of dealing with 17 Bird in the next round.
Ooh, Battle of the Poultry.
It is Battle
It's
of the Poultry.
gonna be a tough one. I mean, I know what his capabilities are. He's a very solid runner, and I've already got it in my mind that I can't, even though I very rarely take certain safety strats, I can't take any safety against him. I've pretty much got to bring my A game, otherwise I'm not going to stand a chance.
Yeah, fair enough. He's definitely a tough opponent, so we'll be looking forward to watching those races as they come. And again, speaking of entertainment, definitely follow both of our runners, Turkey, Tky619, and tinahacks. Links are in chat. Definitely give them a follow. And also follow my co-commentator, Mr. Majadi, who's making a very strong bid to become one of the top runners in this game, and has definitely shown a lot of improvement since this tournament started as well. So definitely recommend you drop him a follow as well.
Yeah, make sure you give Nori a follow too. He's also a very good runner of this game, and will be racing tomorrow in his quarterfinal match. So that'll be at 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. It'll be Nori versus Cake Sauce. So make sure you tune in for that.
Looking forward to that, and again, just the remainder of the tournament as we come to a head here. So appreciate everyone coming out and watching. Thank you again, Speed Gaming, as always, Diesel and crew for doing all that you do and allowing us to broadcast this game out for the masses. So huge thank you to them as well. Great. Well, thank you, everyone, and we'll just check and see what's going on with Speed Gaming for the rest of the evening here really quick. We've got on Speed Gaming 2, Link to the Past Spring Tournament Randomizer just started on this channel at 8:30 p.m. I think Eastern Time. Yep. It'll be Kirby, Nightmare, and Dreamland, so look forward to that particular race. And Speed Gaming 3 currently does have a Spring Tournament Randomizer going on as well, as does Speed Gaming 4, which might be coming near to an end based on the timing there. So lots to tune into, lots to pay attention to. But if you are looking for more Shantae's Majority footage, we will be racing again tomorrow, myself versus Cake Sauce, to determine who moves on to semis. So again, appreciate everyone coming out. Thank you again, Speed Gaming. Thank you, runners. Thank you, Majority. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you guys for commentating as well.
Yeah, thank you both.